I am Kees Motshagen, born 5th of January the 5th, 1928. I went to Korea in March 16, 1951. When the war broke in Korea, I was at that time in Boston, and for 3 months to take over some ships, the USS Reinhardt and USS Burroughs. I was telegraphist on board. March 16, I went to Korea, and I came back June 21, 52. And that was a celebration of my daughter. She was 1 year old. I have never seen her before. I was married just before I went to Korea. Yes, it was a very hard time. But I was by the Navy, of course, that is here. And at that time, we are serving in the Yellow Sea in Korea to guide the jeep carriers who are in there for planes who bombardments in Korea. And we have also, every 3 weeks, we went back to Japan, Sasebo, to rest and to fulfill our command. And then we go back to the Yellow Sea again. Once we are also on the East Coast, and we enter the Bay of Wonsan. And that was the celebration of 175 days of shooting at Wonsan to the trains who are go to from the north to the south for things to bring for the soldiers there. In the bay, there was you know Wonsan on the East Coast? You never heard it is in the north. And we are with 3 ships, and every 120 degrees, they are shooting infrared. And there was the 175 days of shooting. And when you look at the looking glasses, you see that everything is standing alone. There. Well, okay. No, and that is and what we have done there. There was very difficult things in the Yellow Sea that at night there were also fishermen vessels, the small vessels, and they had a radio on board, but they don't know the procedures there. So when an American spotted on the PPI and they ask for the code for friend or foe, when they don't answer within 1 minute, they shoot, and that happens there. So we had several people on board losses the legs, and it was very bad. So we talked together that we make the opportunity that we can send telegraphists at night to those vessels to protect those vessels. And that we done. So I sit there on the board. When I came on board of a vessel, I make contact with the captain, and I give him a hand, and they can go to sleep, and I sit behind the radio. I know the procedures, of course. And so we protect those vessels. It's a good thing. No, that
You were the past president of the association.
Yes. Yes.
When was the association founded?
It was founded in 1977.
Oh, wow.
And it is,
How many
it is now
mem-
40 years. 40 years this year. 40
So-
years, yeah.
4,000 members fought from Netherlands, right? And how many are surviving right now? And how many members are in the association?
The members of the association, that is in all over, is that about
275. 274.
no,
274 at
No,
this
no,
moment.
no, that's only the veterans. No, the whole. The whole. It is about 500.
No.
About 500 members.
500 members.
And from the 500 members, there are 275 veterans from the 5,000.
5,000.
More than 5,000.
More than 5.
Per percentage, we have more casualties in the Korean War than the American, which is 30.
You're right.
In-
You're right.
Yeah,
Because-
124.
Yes, out of 5,000.
5,000.
That's
That's a lot, yeah.
20, more than 20%.
Yeah, more than 20%. Yeah, yeah,
Because Americans, 1.8 million
yeah.
fought.
This is, yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Well, what do you think, again, what do you think is what are you so proud about the Dutch in the war?
What the power was, yeah.
Let's just say all the presidents of different organizations meet and brag about, well, we did this. What would you say about Dutch contribution?
The contribution was very good, yeah? Especially in the army, but in the navy, yeah, we only were on sea. Yeah? That is, I was one time in Chon on land and also in Busan. We also rescued and we tried to rescue a pilot who was down in the Yellow Sea. And but we came there and with his parachute, and behind his parachute he was there. He was already drowned. Yeah, yeah. So we brought him to Busan for the cemetery there. Yeah, yeah.
American pilot?
An American. Yeah. It was the fighting leathernecks with the courses.
Do you remember other nations, other people? You know, Americans, obviously, but do you remember other?
Yes, I was. When we are to the vessels, then we go by helicopter or by sloop to go to the vessels, and when I go back, I was to the vessel from the destroyer of Australian, the Warramunga. I slept there. Yeah, that was a very good membership for the people there.
Well, explain to me a little bit about your medals.
Medals.
Yeah, you have a lot of medals.
Yeah, I have a lot of medals. And this is the Knight of the Order of Oranje. Dit is the Dutch medal. Dit is the medal of the 4 days walking in Netherlands. Yeah, I did it twice. Dit is the United Nations medal. You know them? Yes. And this is the War Medal of Korea, and this is the Peace Medal. Yeah.
What's talking about peace, you know that the Korean War never ended.
Never ended, yeah, no. No, there's still armistice in this moment, yeah. Yeah. And I'm convinced that it will be this century that they will unify the whole peninsula.
Well, I hope this century. I hope sooner than the century, but yes.
No, I said within this century.
Yes.
Okay. That can be next year, but then also over 50 years.
Hopefully, in many of the veterans' lifetime, we will
Yeah.
see a unified Korea.
But you don't know what Trump is it? The new president of Korea.
Trump, yeah.
Trump you're doing. I don't know what happened with him.
And we don't know what's going on with the North Korean either.
North Korea,
no.
yeah.
Well, last question, have you been back to Korea?
Yes, several times.
Several times.
Yes, yes. The first time was with the Minister of Defense in 2001. And we were there with... and I was also convinced that the people were very friendly for us. That is so kind. And I was also in 2003 there, 2007. This an invitation from Mr. Moon. Yeah, and I was in his castle, Mr. Moon. You know that? You ever been there? No, never been there.
Well, again, thank you so much for your service. And on behalf of the Korean people, I appreciate your sacrifice. Thank you.
You're welcome.